Welcome back to Secrets of Buried Stories. There are places on our planet where the laws of nature seem to bend, where the veil between the known and the unknown grows thin. The most notorious of these is a loosely defined stretch of the Atlantic Ocean, its corners touching Bermuda, Florida, and Puerto Rico. To the world, it is known as the Bermuda Triangle, a name that evokes images of ghost ships, vanished planes, and a profound, unsettling mystery. For decades, it has been a graveyard of vessels and lives, swallowing them whole and leaving behind only questions. What ancient force, what natural anomaly, what terrifying truth lies waiting in its depths, a buried secret guarded by the waves? The legend of the Bermuda Triangle is not the product of a single event, but a tapestry woven from dozens of documented, baffling disappearances. While many incidents within this notoriously storm-prone region can be explained by severe weather, human error, or mechanical failure, a persistent core of cases defy all logical explanation. These are the stories that have cemented the Triangle's ominous reputation. Perhaps the most famous incident, the one that truly ignited the modern legend, is the disappearance of Flight 19. On December 5, 1945, 5 U.S. Navy Avenger torpedo bombers took off from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, on a routine training exercise. The flight leader was a seasoned pilot, Lieutenant Charles Taylor, and with him were 13 other airmen. The weather was clear. A few hours into the flight, controllers on the ground began receiving disturbing radio transmissions. The pilots sounded confused, disoriented. Their compasses were malfunctioning. Lieutenant Taylor was heard saying, "Both of my compasses are out, and I'm trying to find Fort Lauderdale. I am over land, but it's broken. I am sure I'm in the Keys, but I don't know how far down." This was impossible. The Florida Keys were in the opposite direction of their flight plan. The rescue tower tried to guide them, but the pilots seemed lost in a world of their own. Their transmissions grew more frantic. "We don't know which way is west. Everything is wrong. Strange. We can't be sure of any direction. Even the ocean doesn't look as it should." Then, as fuel ran low and daylight faded, the final, chilling transmission was heard, and then silence. All 5 planes and the 14 men aboard had vanished. The tragedy was compounded when a Martin Mariner search and rescue plane, dispatched with a crew of 13 to find Flight 19, also disappeared from radar in the same area. It, too, was never seen again. A massive air and sea search was launched, one of the largest in history at the time. They combed hundreds of thousands of square miles of ocean. They found nothing. No wreckage, no oil slicks, no life rafts, no bodies. It was as if 6 aircraft and 27 men had been simply erased from existence. The story of Flight 19 is a cornerstone of the Triangle's mystery, but it is far from the only one. Decades earlier, in March 1918, the USS Cyclops, a massive Navy collier ship over 500 feet long, was sailing from Barbados to Baltimore with 306 crew and passengers. The ship was heavily loaded and well-equipped. It sent no distress signal. It simply vanished somewhere within the Triangle. An exhaustive search found absolutely no trace of the ship or the people aboard. It remains the single largest loss of life in U.S. naval history not involving combat. The list goes on. The Star Tiger and Star Ariel, 2 sister passenger planes, disappeared in 1948 and 1949 respectively, both in good weather, both after routine radio transmissions. The SS El Faro, a cargo ship, sank during a hurricane in 2015, a modern tragedy, but one that highlights the known dangers of the area. Yet it's the cases where the weather was clear, the crews experienced, and the disappearance absolute that feed the legend. To explain these baffling events, a host of scientific theories have been proposed. One popular idea involves methane hydrates on the ocean floor. Large deposits of frozen methane gas could, if destabilized by a geological shift, erupt suddenly, releasing massive bubbles that could dramatically reduce the density of the water, causing a ship floating above to sink instantly, without warning. Such an eruption could also potentially ignite, creating a fireball that could down an aircraft. Another theory points to extreme, unpredictable weather phenomena, such as rogue waves, massive, solitary waves that can reach heights of over 100 feet, capable of swamping even the largest ships in an instant. The Gulf Stream, a powerful ocean current that flows through the triangle, can also create sudden, violent weather changes. Magnetic anomalies are another common explanation, suggesting unusual magnetic fields in the area could interfere with navigational instruments, disorienting pilots and captains. While magnetic variations do exist, they are charted and generally manageable with modern technology. But for many, these scientific explanations, while plausible for some cases, don't fully account for the strangeness of others. The reports of malfunctioning electronics, the visual distortions described by the pilots of Flight 19, and the complete and utter lack of wreckage in so many instances. This is where the more extraordinary theories take hold, speculating about a far deeper, more terrifying buried secret. Could the Bermuda Triangle be a gateway, a portal or wormhole to another dimension or time? This would explain the sudden, complete disappearances without a trace. The reports of electronic fog or strange swirling clouds could be visual manifestations of such a dimensional rift opening and closing. Another enduring theory involves extraterrestrial activity. Is there a submerged alien base in the region, with advanced technology that inadvertently or intentionally interferes with human vessels, perhaps abducting them for study? The idea that UFOs are responsible has been a staple of the Triangle's legend, suggesting a cosmic power at play. But perhaps the most compelling and chilling possibility is that the secret is ancient and terrestrial. What if the legends of Atlantis were true, and a lost city with advanced crystal-based energy technology lies at the bottom of the ocean in this region? A malfunctioning or unstable Atlantean power source could be generating immense, unpredictable energy fields, causing the electromagnetic disturbances and disappearances. The triangle would not be haunted, but rather plagued by the ghost of a lost technology, a power source buried for millennia, still active and dangerous. This ancient power would be the ultimate buried secret, a force of nature and artifice combined, one that we cannot predict, control, or even fully comprehend. The disappearances would be the unfortunate consequence of straying too close to a place where the rules of our world no longer apply, where physics is warped by a power source from a forgotten age. The Bermuda Triangle continues to be a nexus of fact, speculation, and fear. It is a place on our maps that represents a void in our understanding. While scientists search for logical answers in weather patterns and geology, the legend endures, fueled by the unsettling stories of those who sailed or flew into its embrace and were never seen again. The ocean is vast and keeps its secrets well, and in the dark, silent depths of the Bermuda Triangle, it may be guarding the greatest, most terrifying buried secret of all.